So this is a 1964 Rambler American. Last time I changed the engine in it, I've got a AAA engine in it, 283. I had a little radiator leak, leaking inside here, dripping in the floor, which is always going to be the heater core, which is just like a radiator, except it's a little small core of a radiator that sits right here and air blows through it. To get this one out, you take the dash off first. 1, 2, 3 screws here. Looks like there's a little screw in the cardboard over here. These dash pockets are usually made out of cardboard. When I take these 3 screws off, the door's going to come off, and then I'll be able to look back through this hole and hopefully see what I need to do. Funny the things you find in your dash, ain't it, Mr. Heavy Chevy? Yeah, he's my hero. I probably need to put that back on the car. I used to have that on the car, and maybe the old one wore out. I don't know what happened to it, but anyway, yeah, I have updates that need to be made here. So I'm going to take these 3 screws off, and it should, this little thing right here, this little arm, will just slip out of that place. Once I take this off, kind of easy. Most old cars of this era are pretty much about the same as this, as far as how to get the dash pocket off. It just comes this way, and then this thing here. Yeah, there it is. So now, all this paperwork is in here. There's a little screw there, and there may be one here. It attaches to that. Take a regular screwdriver for that. The heater cores on cars of this era are pretty easy to get to, unlike modern day cars. I mean, if they have heater cores, some of them probably just have like a heat pump through your air conditioner. I know I had a Toyota truck one time. It took me several days to get the heater core out of it, and that was an 80s or late 70s Toyota truck. But this one here, in about a minute, you'll be able to have a pretty good view of the whole inside of the firewall here. And I believe I can take this out with all this paperwork just right in there. Let's see, do I have anything? Well, this is loose up top. Loosey goosey. That should. These old dash pockets are pretty old and fragile, but if you think about it, considering that that's been this car since the 60s, that would be 60 years now. They hold up pretty good, really. There's the whole dash pocket with all the stuff right there. Okay, now this goes up into the defroster, which is good. There's probably going to be a little insulation in here, but there's probably going to be a little bit of this insulation. See, there's I don't think that goes into this. So I know I've got screws down here. Now this is where the fan is. The core is going to be right inside of this thing. I believe I can take this air conditioner, this thing here, get that out. Yeah, I see little screwdriver holes there. I tell you, it's tempting to take this seat out. It sure would make it a lot easier. Plus I could oil that seat up. But it'd be a lot easier to lay down on the floor of this while I'm working up in there than it is to try to work around that seat. Let me see what I'd have to take loose to get that seat out. I might reach a point where I decide it ain't worth the trouble to get it out and just work with it in there. Hey, let's do that. Let's see if we can get the heater core out. It's gonna be harder, but getting that seat out's harder too. Alright, let's reconnect here. Now I see a screwdriver hole over here. It might be that this box could drop down. Wouldn't that be sweet if they made it that easy? Okay, it works easier if you lay on the seat, hang your head over the side like I'm doing here. And I could get a long screwdriver bit and put it in a socket extension and reach up in there with it. But so far, the hardest one is this one. If I can get this one out like I'm going, then that won't be necessary. It is coming loose. We are doing it. The less times I have to get out from under the car and go in the garage and find another tool and come back, the better, I guess. There's 3 of them out. Don't see any more up in that side. I knocked it all over, didn't I? Yeah. I think I expect your battery's about dead anyway. It's actually got a pretty good and intact defrost system in it. So I think I got the bolts off the inside of the firewall, and I think I have to take these out for it to release the motor. See, these pipes right here come out of the core that I'm trying to get loose. So let's pop those screws off, and I may want to go ahead and cut these pipes off of here. Make it easier to get them out. That's smaller than a 3/8. That's surprising. That's a 9mm. Let's see, I'm gonna have a wire to this heater. I want to unhook the battery too. So in the process of getting the heater core out of the 64 Rambler American, I'm going to try to identify the points I've loosened so far. So if we look up underneath the box, and I'm in the floorboard of the car here, under the dash, up in there, there's a screw. These are Phillips head screws, It's 1, 2, 3. I think that's 1, 2, 3. I loosened the defroster here, and there was a couple of these little funny headed nuts on it that looked like this, and there was a tube here that connects down here, this part up to that part. And then once I got that out of the way, I found another screw way up on the end over here, up in here, and it's out. And then it feels like it's fixing to come out, so I want to go show you what I did outside on the firewall. I loosened so here is the heater motor, fan motor, and there's a screw here and a screw here, and this screw over here had a wing nut on it and had the ground from the fan motor to it. And you'll notice that when I wiggle this motor, I can wiggle the motor, I can wiggle this, and I think that they both are sitting in there inside of that box. So what I'm going to try to do now is to pull that box away from the firewall. Okay, now that made a little progress, so I'm going to show you this. If you look up here, you can see that's where the heater core is. You can see it sits flat right here, and it goes through the firewall right there. So if I can get this box to come down far enough for me to get that out of there, that's going to be what we're aiming for here. So I'm going to grab underneath and up top. I'm trying to see if there's any other place where it's fastened that I've missed. It feels like there might be something down here. Ah, there it is. See, there's one more. No, it's not. I thought I was looking at another screw hole there, but I don't see it. So I'm gonna go outside on the firewall and see if there's like one more bolt. Feels like there might be something down here, but I don't see anything. Oh wait, here it is. Up underneath here. There is one more. That's going to be another one of those 9mm. So let me go find a socket piece up under there. So 5/16 or 3/8, neither one of those will fit it. It's got to be a 9mm. I believe when I take this off, it's going to let the whole thing come out. I hope so. Feels loose. And there are still some wires running to this heater motor, but I might be able to get the box out enough to pull the core. See how that core is sitting there now? It's literally right there. So if I can get this to just lean back a little more. Alright, she's loose now. I'm probably going to have to take these little clamps off of here. I don't know if you can see what I'm looking at here. These little clamps here that hold this here. I may need to take off the fire extinguisher holder over here also. I think it's blocking this from coming down. See, I put the fire extinguisher holder up in this corner under the dash. Well, it's where it's sitting is keeping this end from dropping down. I believe if I get this end to drop down, I can get the heater core out of it. Like that. That's what we wanted right there. Now, you can see, even though this just sits in here in this box, it wouldn't come out unless you got that out. Now,